Hey, what's up guys? It's Rick with the Digital Divide, and today I want to talk about 8bitdo controllers. I absolutely love this company, and recently I have replaced all of my PC controllers with these 8bitdo controllers, and I'm going to get into why I did that. The Xbox controllers are really nice. This is what I was using before, so you might be wondering why did I switch these with these? Well, I'm going to get into that. A lot of it has to do with latency. Now, these are the two specific ones that I picked up. The first one is the 8bitdo Ultimate 3-mode controller. This is Xbox branded. I got the transparent green. I have two of those, and then I also have the Ultimate 2 controller that was designed for the Switch 2 over here. Now, these are regularly on sale between $50 and $60. I didn't pay $70 for mine, but as I mentioned earlier, the reason I switched controllers is because of latency. So what is latency? Well, it's the delay between when you press something on the controller and when the game actually responds to it. As I've gotten older, I have gotten incredibly sensitive to latency, so I want to reduce it as much as possible. And for older controllers, or your standard controllers, they all use resistive-based potentiometers, and these require a physical contact with the main board inside of the controller, and that makes it prone to wear and tear, and that causes drift. You can see here that on a regular controller, there's a physical contact made to regulate the voltage inside of the controller, and over time, that will wear out, and when it wears out, it's going to cause drift. The 8bitdo controllers, though, they use Hall effect sticks, and with Hall effect sticks, there is absolutely no physical contact being made, so you'll never have stick drift. These are all proximity-based, and they're based on magnets. And I'm going to demonstrate here how easy it is to induce stick drift. Almost every controller has stick drift, but you won't notice because most games don't allow you to modify the dead zone. Star Wars Outlaws here on the PS5 does. You can see that by default, the dead zone is set to 24, which is really high, and the reason that is because if they set it lower, which I'm going to do now, I'm going to set it to 0, it will cause stick drift in most games. And this is why, like, you can see she's moving right. I'm not pressing right now. She's doing that on her own. You can create stick drift in almost any controller. Here's my DualSense controller, for example. By lowering the dead zone to 0, you can see that she's now moving on her own. I'm not doing that. Almost every game on console has a ridiculously high dead zone to avoid problems like this. But newer technologies, such as TMR joysticks or Hall effect joysticks, use, as I mentioned before, magnets, so there's no physical contact being made, there's nothing to wear down. As a result, these have way less latency and are way more responsive than controllers that use traditional analog stick technology. So that is one of the primary reasons that I picked up the 8bitdo controllers, because they use Hall effect sticks and they are more affordable than a DualSense or Xbox Series controller. Now, these controllers aren't bad, but in addition to using outdated technology, they also rely on Bluetooth. And that's reason number 2 why I decided to move on from the Xbox and PlayStation controllers, because these give you another option. So every 8bitdo controller, the wireless ones, come with a free charging dock, and I can't think of any other controller in this price range that comes with a free charging dock, but inside of that dock, there is a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. This is completely optional. You don't need to use this, but they are significantly faster than Bluetooth, especially when it comes to gaming. If you look at Bluetooth, you're going to have built-in input latency between 3 and 15 milliseconds, whereas if you use this 2.4 gigahertz dongle, it's only going to be 1 to 3 milliseconds, so it's way more responsive. That, combined with the Hall effect sticks, just make this controller amazing. Now, as I mentioned, all of the wireless 8bitdo controllers typically come with a charging stand, and the great thing about these stands is that they're universal. This is my Xbox model tri-mode controller. You can see it's charging. The light there is orange to indicate that it is charging. It'll turn white when it's done. But you'll see here that I have another 8bitdo controller, which is a completely separate model. This one was made for the Switch. It's a different model. This is a dual band, but they use the same charging pins on the back. So you can use any 8bitdo dock with any 8bitdo controller and it will work. There's nothing super special about the controller in terms of its ergonomics. The top LB and RB buttons are clicky like a mouse, and then the triggers are not. They're spongy because they're analog, so they have to be. Now there is a screen capture button here, so you have all the buttons that you would be used to on an Xbox controller. It also has 2 optional paddle buttons that are programmable, and there is 3 different ways that you can connect this. You can connect it through Bluetooth, you can connect it through that 2.4 gigahertz dongle, you can do wired mode, and it also works with like Android and iOS, so it's completely compatible. You'll notice with the Switch version of this controller, the buttons are different, but that's about it. It still has the home button and all that stuff, and it has the back paddles as well. The level of consistency between models is great. It makes it easy to transition to 8bitdo for everything. Now, this is what it looks like next to a standard Xbox Series controller. It is ever so slightly smaller, which for my hands specifically makes a huge difference. If you have bigger hands, maybe you'd find the Xbox controller more comfortable. Now, the software is pretty straightforward. This is what it looks like on PC. As soon as you plug in the controller, it's going to ask you to pick a profile. We'll just go ahead and pick profile number 1 here, and you'll see that you have the ability to remap every single button on this controller, including, the back panels and all that stuff. You can also do some modifications for the sticks. Specifically, you can reduce the dead zone through the driver, and this will override game settings when you're playing on PC. You also have the ability to swap the sticks or the D-pad, or completely eliminate the dead zone within the drivers if you want to do that. Now, the triggers, as I mentioned before, are analog, so you can test those out here if you're having any issues with those, and you can lower them so that they become hair triggers so that you barely have to press them, which is really cool. Now, if we go over to vibration, this actually has 4 different motors. It has 2 traditional motors, and then it has motors in the triggers, similar to an Xbox, where it has what's called impulse triggers. So you can disable those if you want, or disable all of the rumble, or just them individually. And then you can update your driver and firmware here as well. So there's not a whole lot there. It's pretty straightforward. Overall, though, I absolutely love these things. I've been using them for a few months now, and as I mentioned, I use them exclusively when I'm gaming on PC. If I were to rate these, I would give it about a 9 out of 10. They're amazing controllers, and I don't know that I could ever go back to using like a standard controller after I've experienced controllers in this way. They're just super responsive. As always, thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate it.